Welcome back, travelers. I'm glad to see you made it. I'm Colo, and today I want to show you about one of my favorite mods on the Baldur's Gate 3 in-game mod manager. The Cheater's Ring mod is the one we're going to be talking about today, and as you can imagine, it's probably not the best idea to use this on your first playthrough because it is straight up cheating. But if, like me, you have hundreds or even thousands of hours already in this game and you don't feel like dealing with some of the shenanigans that you normally have to deal with starting a new playthrough, or you just don't feel like looting every body you come across and every box you come across to sell stuff to the vendors, if you don't like the stealth and pickpocketing systems in the game like I personally do not, you can use these ring effects to get around some of the parts of the game that you just don't find enjoyable, which to me I think is perfectly fine. The main thing about playing a game should be making sure you have as much fun as possible, and if your version of fun in Baldur's Gate 3 is making sure you pass every dialogue check, you don't feel like save scumming, you don't feel like all the shenanigans, you can just make sure they go through. You can just instant one-hit anybody that you're fighting in combat, and it takes the guesswork out of it. Basically, it lets you play Baldur's Gate 3 however you want. So anyway, let's take a look at some of the effects that the Cheater's Ring gives you. This right here, the Cheater's Spell Scroll, is the actual list of effects that you're going to get for equipping the ring. The first one allows you to unlock the use of all of these abilities on a character without wearing the ring. So, boom. I just gave it to him permanently, and now I can unequip the ring, and I still have access to these abilities, which is really sweet. Second, and this is probably one of the most important ones here, Cheater's Opulent Revival. This resurrects fallen companions and restores the caster and all nearby allies as though they had long rested. So, if you're playing a bunch of casters like I currently am in this run, just basically built a 4-caster group that I would normally have to take a bunch of long rests to be able to play, well, I can trade out some of those long rests for these in between combat. Is it cheating? Absolutely it's cheating. It has cheaters right in the name of the effect. But if you don't feel like going back to camp and doing 500 long rests, this is a perfect way to get around that. You have Cheater's Superior Restoration, removes all negative effects from the caster and nearby allies, and that's a pretty good range. Cheater's Misty Step allows you to Misty Step without having access to the spell. Mass Fly, you can grant a until long rest version of Fly to all your party members, which is really nice to have. Mass Greater Invisibility, so you can stealth through areas easily. True Seeing, you can see invisible things. And Pierce the Plains with your eyes. True Seeing. So that's really nice to have, as you can imagine. Cheater's Knock, you can unlock any locked objects. Create and destroy water, speak with animals, speak with dead. You know what these things do. Greater Guidance. This is a plus 20 on all rolls while you have it. And it's usable in conversations just like Guidance is. So basically you can make it almost guaranteed that you pass any checks. Cheater's Magic Missile. A magic missile that does a ridiculous amount of damage, so if you get stuck in a tight spot. Icy Magic Missile, this is 6 ice shards basically that you shoot, and it does a ton of damage, but these are the magic missile version, and they also always hit their target, which is great. Cheater's Kill, instantly kill the target. So if you're on a boss you just need to get past, if you're trying to record footage for content, if you're trying to just get to Act 3 and you don't feel like getting stuck on Merkel and dealing with that shenanigans, boom, you can just kill him and move on. Cheater's Explosion, huge giant explosion, and it leaves lava on the ground, which does a ridiculous amount of damage per turn while people stand in it. Cheater's Flesh to Gold. This one's really cool. You can turn a target into gold. Flesh to Stone, same thing but stone. Cheater's Stone to Flesh. You can turn petrified creatures back to their organic forms. This one's really cool. A lot of people are going to think this is awesome. Cheater's Clean Party. So if you're covered in blood, instead of having to do, you know, make it rain on your party members or throw bottles of water on them or use soap or whatever for each one, you can just use that. It instantly cleans everybody. So if you're trying to go into a cutscene without blood all over you, there you go. They have recently updated this. This used to be 2,500 gold that you could summon, and now it's 10,000. So now this Cheater's Ring mod is as good as the Midas Touch mod that I've also posted a video about. You honestly don't need that one anymore. No shade on the guy who made that one. Fantastic job. The Midas Touch mod was amazing, and I highly recommend it. If you don't feel like going this route, the Midas Touch mod is also really good. You can use it to spawn gold in camp supplies, and speaking of camp supplies, you can summon camp supplies with this Cheater's Ring as well. Summon Potion Box. So let's see what that does. The rest of these are boxes of stuff. So we summoned a box with all kinds of potions and poisons in it. And these are the blood elixirs that Araj Obladra, or whatever the hell her name is, can make for you. So you get stacks and stacks of pretty much every single potion and poison you can think of in the game. Absolutely ridiculous. If you're using a lot of, you know, coatings on your weapons, there you go. If you don't feel like going to the store and buying health potions before each fight, you can just summon the box, and there you go. Like I said, it's definitely cheating. There's no question about it. It has cheaters right in the name. But if you're okay with cheating, what's the problem? I don't see a problem with it. Summon Scroll Box. Take a look at what kind of stuff we've got in there. I just lagged my game. There must be a lot of scrolls. 335,000 gold worth of scrolls. So, yeah, every spell scroll that you could possibly imagine. Scrolls of Revivify, Scroll of True Resurrection. Ridiculous. You get everything. Any scrolls you could possibly need. So if you got a wizard and you want to teach them all the spells in the world, there you go. Bing, bang, boom. You got them all right there at your fingertips. Each one of these boxes is temporary, by the way. When you summon these, if you want to take time and look through them, you need to put yourself in turn-based mode, and it will stop the timer because they only last a certain amount of turns. The reasoning for that, I'm sure, is that it would, you know, lag the game out or whatever if you summon too many of them, so it doesn't want it to stay in your inventory. Tools box, you can get thieves tools, trap disarm kits, soap, soul coins, and then hammer, tongs, and shovels. Take those. So I've got a bunch of freaking trap disarm toolkits. Whoops. Clicked the wrong thing. Summon alchemy ingredient bag. Let's see what that is. An absolutely ridiculous amount of pretty much every crafting supply you could possibly need. Alchemy supplies. What is next? The dye box. Got a bunch of available dyes in the box, so if you want to dye your gear, you got some dyes. Arrow box. This one's going to be a fan favorite. For any of you archers going through hundreds and hundreds of special arrows, you've got piercing, you've got barbed, beast slaying, everything. Everything you can think of. Many targets. One of my favorite arrows ever, watching arrows bounce across the room like a freaking checker move where you take all the pieces. I love it. I love watching stuff skip across the room like that. It's amazing. Cheater's Summon Grenade Box. We've got all the throwables you could ever want right here. Summon Armor Box. This one is a big deal, and this one is going to be one of the things that a lot of people are not going to be okay with just because of what it actually is. I'm going to go in turn-based mode for this one. You basically summon a box with like every named piece of gear in the game in it. Apologies if the sound on this video has been terrible. I had an AC on in my room and didn't even realize it. So sorry about that. But anyway, the armor box, it's got every freaking piece of named armor that you could possibly want. It's got all the best in slot pieces for every build. If you want Karlach in your group, but you also want to have the robe that you get for killing her, you can use this box to get it. If you want to get the potent robe from that you would normally get from Alfira, here you go. You've got it and you can build around it. The advice that I want to give about this mod is that if you're playing your first playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, you probably should not use this because it is straight up cheating. It's not even a question. You're summoning in items, you're summoning in gold. You can actually create, look at this. Okay, so we've got gear, there's an armor box like that, and then there's also a weapons box that's pretty much the same thing with all the named weapons. I'm not even going to bother summoning it. It's the same thing. It's got all the freaking weapons in the universe in it. Summon jewelry box, summon mind flayer parasite bag if you want to get a whole bunch of mind flayer parasites and build a whole mind flayer build for all your people, you can do that. The tutorial chest, some other mods and add-ons require the tutorial chest to be summoned and then they'll put items inside there. So this is a way that you can do that, summon the tutorial chest in and get access to it this way, easy peasy. This part right here is going to be one of the biggest deals for some people also. Instead of carrying around 50 million barrels in somebody's inventory or having to worry about sending them back to your camp, you can summon barrels with the mod. So summon water barrel, fire wine barrel, oil barrel, acid, brine, smoke powder, and then the nautiloid tanks, which are another explosive barrel, and freaking rune powder barrels. And let me just tell you, the rune powder barrels are ridiculous. If you summon one of them and destroy it while it's too close to you, it will basically nuke your entire party in one hit. It does so much damage. There's even a warning on it. You are responsible for what happens if you use this. Let's take a look. Summon this rune powder barrel down there. I'm gonna get as freaking far away from it as possible. Let's see. Make sure I can't reach.
Try me.
Burn the spider web and see what happens. All right. A boom. So it's seriously like setting off a freaking nuke. And I killed half my team up here by doing that. So anyway, this is a good chance to show off the opulent revival thing. Everybody up there is hurt. Boom. Everybody's rezzed and long rested. So another good thing you can do with that is that if you have any daily cast spells like mage armor or summons, you can use those and then do the opulent revival thing and get all your spell slots back, and you still keep the summons and the buffs. It doesn't clear your buffs like you long rested. It only does the good things that long resting normally does. So that's excellent in practice. Turn to gold. Turn to gold, can't move or take actions, bonus actions, or reactions. So if you just absolutely need to crowd control somebody, and it also makes them, you know, resistant to everything. Now, where the heck was it? Here we go. You can unpetrify them. So there's definitely a bunch of uses for this stuff. As I said before, I don't recommend it for a first-time player, but if you want access to something that can enable impossible builds or let you have companions that you wouldn't normally be able to have in that specific run, you'll get access to all those things by being able to summon in the gear without killing those people or whatever you have to do. Also, if you just don't like certain parts of the game, you can just straight up skip them and still have access to the gear that those parts of the game provide. Say that you don't like the spider matriarch fight. You don't want to go down there. You don't feel like fooling with it, but you want the robe that the spider matriarch drops. Okay. Well, let's summon our item chest. Go into turn-based. And it is called the Poisoner's Robe. Poisoner's Robe, right here. So you could just straight up skip the Spider Matriarch and still get the thing she drops, and there you go. You don't have to worry about it. Or if you wanted to get the gear in Act 1 that you would normally only get in Act 3 and play the whole game with that busted freaking set of gear, who cares? It's a single player game if you want it to be. So if you're just playing this game by yourself and not affecting an entire other team of people with your choices, then who cares what you do? Anyway, I just wanted to spotlight this mod because I think it's really freaking great, and I think it enables a lot of fun that the game has available, but you don't normally get to experience. So if you're interested in it, here you go. This is the perfect way to do that. The mod also has a ton of toggleable passive effects that are just straight up game breaking effects, like toggleable permanent +20 to all dice rolls. Always critical success toggle. It says it doesn't work 100% of the time. There's nothing you can do about that, but basically you only roll nat 20s. Never critical fail toggle, so you never roll nat 1s. God mode, become immune to all sources of damage. Damage bonus toggle adds a +500 damage to all attacks, which is absurd. Ability score toggle, set all ability scores to 20, so it doesn't matter what gear you're wearing or any of that, you're going to be a freaking absolute god tier character on every single one of your stats. And auto wash toggle, this one's actually pretty cool. While this is toggled on, all nearby party members will be automatically washed as if they had used soap at the end of combat, which is pretty sweet. So I'm going to throw that one down here and toggle it. So anyway, there's those passives and then all these abilities that I've listed here. And it's as simple as just installing this one Cheater's Ring mod, which is ridiculous, ridiculous value for one mod. This basically covers all the bases you could possibly want in summoning in gear, summoning in weapons, summoning in arrows and scrolls and stuff like that, so you can try out any build in the game with just this one ring to rule them all. But that's going to do it for this video, travelers. Let us know down in the comments what other mods you love and would like to see me talk about. A bug just flew past me and I was afraid it was going to fly into my face or into my mouth while I was talking, so that didn't happen, luckily. But as always, travelers, I am glad you get to see me. Do your best to stay alive out there. Until next time, see ya.